Starburns Audio.
Thank you for listening to the Starburns Audio Podcast Network. We have so many great comedy shows to add to your playlist. Just last week on Starburns Audio, on the Season 2 premiere of Humans Who Make Games, Adam Conover talks to comedian Ron Funches and Jean Goudon, creative director of the Assassin's Creed series. On Boogie Monster, Kyle Kinane and Dave Stone share a perfect recipe for the quarantined cook. This week on Profiles and Eccentricity, they cover the history of the Coruscant Unity cult, folks for whom a flat earth is ridiculous because they believe it's really a concave shell. Search Starburns Audio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any podcast platform for our full list of shows, featuring hosts like Joe Coy, Amanda Seales, Jessica Chobot, and Jackie Johnson. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Starburns Audio. Enjoy the show. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep laughing.
Dan and Ren and Jay will share tales of folks so unaware they lack in grace and sometimes choose the life they choose will make the news. Breaking down each epic fail in Florida, there's half-price bail. I'm happy to say they couldn't make this up. So listen to our podcast jam with co-host Arm and Dan. Benders, don't be a jerk, cause when the music hits, the funny hits, and we are gonna take you down. Stick around. Make a sound, hunker down, it's Dumb People Town.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Dumb People Town.
Population U.
We're so glad you are here. Daniel, how are you, sir?
I'm very good. I'm very good. How about yourself?
I'm great.
It's been a long time since we were hanging out in the studio.
Well, we kind of had to because of just, the vacation and all that time. We kind of had to bank up a bunch of them. And so it has been since way before 4th of July that we've been here recording one. And thank you to everybody. I hope you guys had a good 4th of July. The live episode with Jonah Ray was doing great. Awesome. Today...
Ugh.
I know.
Worse.
We kind of had to do this one today. This feels
feel sorry for him.
It feels very obligatory.
We feel sorry for this guy. He's been begging us to come on the podcast.
And nothing really has been going on in his life. So I guess Kumail Nanjiani, welcome to the show.
Man.
Thanks for having me.
What a bummer.
We have to.
What a bummer.
Holy smokes, dude.
Where was the live show?
Live show we did at Starburns Castle.
Oh, right. I haven't been there yet.
It's
phenomenal.
Great. So Jonah was very funny. As you know, he can be funny on stage from time to time.
Yeah, he's really actually... he's making a face.
He's on a crazy fucking tour right now.
I know.
I've seen his living quarters. It's a true nightmare.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
It's like a horizontal closet.
Yes. Wait, you shared with 3 other people.
Stop. That's New York living.
That's awful.
That's some New York living right there.
I saw it and I took a shower.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, congratulations to you on your movie. Dan, Randy, and I saw it last week, and we love it. If you haven't gone,
we went on a triple date.
You know what? We fell in love again.
A midday triple date. We held hands the whole time, which was weird.
And that was just during the previews.
We know you've done a ton of press. We know you're trying to get the word out. The Big Sick, if you haven't seen it and you're in our audience, run and go see it immediately.
Right now.
For 50 reasons, go see it. Number one, this is our good friend and this is somebody that we love and want to support. And so do it because of that. Do it because movies like this get made and we as a community need to support it so that more movies like this can get made. But the number one reason is that it is one of the best movies I've seen in so long. And again, we know you. So we're actually, it's so hard because we know you as our friend, and to see you up there, it has to jump into another area in order for me to get sucked in.
I see.
So that I'm not taken out of the fact that there's our friend up there doing his thing.
Right. And a bunch of people we know.
Doing their thing. And it did. It just beautifully done, man.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
on every level.
I have to say, one of the things I love the most is that every time Ray Romano, who was amazing in it, his character, who plays Emily, your wife's father, every time he said your name, he said it wrong in a different kind of way.
That's right. Yeah, cool. He's a total legend, and I was so nervous to meet him and work with him, and he could not be nicer.
I mean, but what's amazing is he's a legend as a stand-up. He's a legend, and obviously
as a sitcom star.
Too.
I'm going to throw in, because I watched the Jason Katims, the Parenthood
Oh,
show.
people love that show.
And he was amazing in that
Yeah.
and a tremendous actor in it. We had him on the podcast, and he has twin sons.
Yes, of course.
I mean, from his stand-up, he talked about it. He
I
did
know
some of the
those
best-
dudes really well now.
Really?
Yeah, because
That's great.
we sort of, we did a little tour, and his family would travel with us and stuff, and his family's super close, so
Yeah.
I know his whole family really
amazing.
well.
And he was, but for him,
How dirty was Holly Hunter's stand-up? I mean, I can imagine that she just gets right
it's a
into
lot
the
of ass play.
It's a lot of and then gets way into horrorcore. Is that straight?
Horrorcore?
Yeah, she just gets straight. No, I'm just kidding.
I've never heard that phrase before.
Horrorcore?
Isn't that like a hip hop? I think
I
that's
don't know.
like describes hip
Maybe.
hop.
Who knows?
I keep telling people that I love your movie. It's like 4 great movies in one. It's a movie about like family and marriage and dating and love, and there's so many great relationships that you're like, oh, I would watch a movie just about this interaction. So being able to have 4 of those running together in one thematic story is what makes it work so well for me.
Yeah, dude, you just...
Thanks, guys. Yeah, we wanted to put everything in. We were like, we may never get to make another movie.
I love that was your attitude before it, and now I honestly...
it's what makes it work.
Yeah,
The other thing is the stand-up. So many people have tried to capture A, how comedians hang out with each other and are funny with each other, and B, how people do stand-up on stage and it can be funny at all. And you guys found a way to do it. It's very hard to do.
You know what's hard? I think the trap people fall in when they're filming comedians performing comedy is they try and curate the audience's response. So they'll show somebody on stage and be like, this guy's so funny. It'll cut to the audience laughing super hard. And you're watching the movie going, this isn't that funny.
Right.
And so in our movie, we don't do that. We just show it and we're like, you can think it's funny or it's not funny and it doesn't really matter. Whatever you think it doesn't.
Yeah.
And the audience's reactions were real.
Yeah,
they were totally real.
Yeah, we didn't have like packed shows and people crushing or anything. We just had like normal people.
Did you record that in Littlefield?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we just were in New York performing there on Night Train. It's a great spot and a great venue and perfect for that.
Yeah. We basically lived there for 3 days shooting all that. Yeah.
David Allen Greer did something in the movie, like just introducing someone that
funny.
made me laugh. He is so funny in his fucking bones.
It sucks because we had to cut out his storyline a little bit. We had to cut out a lot of the stand-up stuff, actually. That was one of the stories that really got
Just him
pared down.
constantly doing coke.
Yeah, he was so funny, and I feel so bad. Like all the stuff we shot with him, he was like, he went to Yale drama school. He's an actor.
Oh, hell yes. He is like a great...
He's my neighbor, and
Oh, really?
yeah. And when he has a baby girl, I think, around, but not a baby anymore, like 8 years old, the same age as my son. And when we were but when they were little babies, we were in a music class together, and he was just doing...
But wait, explain. You just glossed over music class because there are 2 dudes who don't have kids here.
So
What
a music class is when you have like a 6, 7, or 8-month-old, 9-month-old, year-old. You take this kid to someone's really nice house, and like a music teacher comes, like this fun music teacher.
Why did you get tricked into this?
No, it actually was really fun.
You've bought in.
Let me tell you.
You're in a cult.
And you sing songs, and the kids sing the
And we
songs, and
cut
they play
ourselves.
instruments.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You all buy purple Nikes.
I like
and-
how he says a really cool music teacher shows up.
And you
not
castrate
really cool.
yourself. Whatever. It's not. We all get the same haircut. I don't know why people are making it weird. And no, but so David Allen Greer was there with his kid, and I was there with mine, and he was doing so many funny things, just singing the songs. I was like, I would watch this for 40 hours straight.
Well,
it was making me laugh so hard that I had to like excuse myself from the class. He was being so funny.
That's great. So there were everybody, and A.D. Bryant and Bo Burnham
Kurt,
was, Kurt Braunohler was hilarious and just great all the way around. I was explaining to my wife as she was in the shower this morning, the movie, and I was like, it would be like, take a movie that hit and was a hit, in my opinion, a small movie that became a hit, like Monsoon Wedding, not just because of...
Right.
I'm not just talking because you're brown.
Right. Monsoon Wedding, Slumdog Millionaire. Trended like Beckham. I don't know what the connection is. These movies. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Just the variety of comedies that have come out.
Yeah,
in the last
just
several
nothing-
years.
And that's
no,
just the whole range of movies that have come out, independent films. Those are the only ones that I can think of at this point.
Look, but this.
But let me finish my thing. Were you in the shower with my wife this morning?
I was.
Oh, all right. So anyway, no, but I said, imagine if a movie that I watched Monsoon Wedding and I really liked it. I loved it for a lot of reasons. But
I was like, imagine then, it's like if you took like a beautiful story, but then put the guy who directed or who created Wet Hot American Summer and Search Party and directed Hello, My Name is Doris, who is like a brilliant comedic mind as a director, and then put in all these funny people who are such great actors and really funny actors, and written by two people who know comedy like nobody else. And I was like, then that becomes, you take that thing and elevate it to the next level, which is why I think, and I'm going to say this out loud, and I'm sure you don't want to hear this because you don't want to jinx anything. I think, certainly for the script, it will be up for an Oscar this year. I believe that. I believe it. To me, it's like, hey, why is this different than Little Miss Sunshine? Why is this different than Juno? This to me feels like those types of movies, and Juno won a fucking Oscar.
And there's no like Indian or Pakistani themes in any of those movies. So the fact that you brought them up,
brought all those movies up.
No, but this is how movies used to be released in
Suburbia.
the 70s. Just kidding. In the 70s. You think about the 70s. What would happen is they would put it on 5 or 10 screens. They would wait for the New Yorker, that woman who wrote for
Joan, whatever her name was.
They would wait for her.
She was a critic.
She was a critic. They wait for her review. If she came out with a positive review, which this movie's gotten a lot of great reviews, it came out with that, then they would go to like 250 screens. How's it doing on 250? Okay, then it would go to 1500, which I think was what a wide release was back in the 70s. But like, that's what's happened for this film, which means on its merit and on its ability to get people to come see it, it's grown and expanded to the place where it should be. We just want everyone else to go see it so that it does.
Thanks,
it
guys.
makes a lot.
And in my heart, it's technically a sequel to Return to Me. And David Alan Grier's character, it's also set in Chicago.
Oh my God.
David Alan Grier's character has now like moved on to this other life. I had this whole through line in my head.
Oh my God, Return to Me?
Yeah.
The movie with David Duchovny?
Yeah, David Alan Grier plays his best friend, and it's set in Chicago.
X-Files is referenced in the movie.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so much is happening right now.
Jesus.
By the way, that was the coolest thing. He saw the movie. You know, I'm a huge X-Files fan.
Yeah.
David Duchovny saw the movie and sent me like the nicest text maybe I've ever received in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
I loved it, man. People really, really need to go see it.
And he sent you some classified information that nobody has access to.
Well, I just
And
know
some
some
sex. He sexted you too. He's very into.
I know.
That's very funny that you say that. Because it
There
kind
were
of was
12 sex.
Said you up?
You guys want to do a story?
Let's do a story because that's what we do on this show, and we're so happy that we have the comedic
It's been so
mind
long
here.
since we got back in the studio. Two things I want to let people know. It's Kumail, you probably have done stuff like this. We have a Facebook page set up for Dumb People Town, and all the people, the fans who call themselves townies, just go on there. Like, we had a story take place at a Pizza Hut where a guy got in a fight over like pepperoni placement and then maced some people, and so many of our listeners live near
it and took pictures in front of it.
Have been there. It's great.
It's turning it into like a walking tour of America.
Oh yeah, we have people being like, "Oh, I've been to that parking lot where those people had sex on a Sunday morning."
America is getting dumber. That is what we know, and the world is getting dumber, and so we have to fight back.
Yeah. So I want to let people know because I get sent so many stories. This does not. I don't need to give you guys any context because you're comics. Just so the people who sent me these. I want everyone to know the guy who slept with 57 women in 24 hours and the Viking funeral for those people's grandpa that they set on fire, those are both fake.
Okay. Those are not real stories.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
We've
'cause
got to know.
I got sent those a lot, and then people will be like, he never does the best stories. Like, they're not real, guys.
We got to do some
Trust me.
research.
57 in 24 hours is impossible.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's biologically. Unless he wasn't coming each time.
No,
Yeah,
he
maybe.
was, and that was all the fake story. They
was
said it
all
had to be a certain minimum amount of semen, and then that's when I was like, And then it was when people don't give names.
Yeah.
You know a story's fake when semen measurement is part.
Yeah.
Because
no way
who
to
is
tell.
doing that?
Weighing it.
It's like the old. I forget what comedian made this joke. It's such a brilliant joke in the Ice Cube song. Today was
Oh, that was me.
You made that joke?
Yes, I did.
Messed around and wound up with a triple double.
Yeah.
Did you make that joke?
Yeah.
Who's counting assists?
Yep.
That was your joke?
Yeah.
Phenomenal. You didn't know who did it.
All right, well, this story is
counting
real.
assists.
This story is real. It was sent in by Jason Hall at HallJO5. As if getting his penis stuck in a wrench wasn't embarrassing enough, this guy had to get a ton of help to have it freed. So imagine...
Do that in your own garage. Don't do it when you work at Jiffy Lube, I think is already the lesson.
Yeah, use your own fucking wrench. Don't use the work wrench.
Literally, don't get any of your penis
What's
on the
worse?
work wrench.
This guy did it himself or did it on a dare? Which is worse?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, he
on a
definitely
dare.
did it. No.
I think it's worse if he did it himself.
Yeah.
Because that's just personal exploration.
Yeah, that's just like, this is what I want to do with my day. You're not even trying to win or make a
He's
point.
been eyeballing that wrench for weeks.
Yeah.
You and I have a
threw
date.
a wrench into the situation.
He threw a wrench in his day. He literally would like pull into his garage and just look over at his tools and be like, "You and I have a date later."
Yeah.
This is what I'm
What?
doing.
What, wrench?
Let's
what
go.
Are you looking at? Why
It's
are you
go
being
time.
so weird? He's
Zip.
negging the wrench. You should smile more.
I have so many questions.
Yes.
So we'll get into it.
So okay, then keep going.
Keep going. I love this.
The unnamed bachelor, believe it or not.
Oh, he's
single.
not with somebody?
No,
anyone.
he went into a hospital in Linhai City, China, around 9:30 p.m. on June 2nd, nearly a full day after he got his genitals trapped.
That's so far the thing that I relate hardest to. Because if I get my dick stuck in a wrench, I'm not going to to the hospital until I really have it.
You're doing everything you can to get out
like
of it.
this is
One
gonna
day.
Let me
work
explore
itself
my
out.
options. This is, by the way, the nation that has passed us in terms of leading the world.
Okay.
I just want you to know that.
After 17 hours of being stuck in a wrench, his penis had become swollen and had turned purple. So finally, he sought medical help. Doctors wanted to carry out an operation to reduce blood flow so they could remove the tool from his tool. You always love when journalists will write. You ready? So here's our first photo.
No.
These are the doctors.
They just showed him hours of Christiane Amanpour video.
Yeah.
She's hot, though.
Look at him. They just blur out his face.
Did you just say Christiane Amanpour is hot?
She is kind of hot.
Hey, beauty's in the eye, gents.
I think Christiane Amanpour is
Everybody
kind of
can be
hot. She's very
was like dirty. Then
She's
maybe,
authoritative. If she was talking to you dirty, but in a very newscastery voice, you'd be like,
I'm
"That's hot."
Christiane Amanpour from your asshole. Like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
she announces where she's reporting from.
Cairo.
At Sklar Brothers. If
What?
You want
I
to share
think
your Christy Amanpour.
I think she's. Why is that a bad thing?
Tel Aviv.
It's not. They needed his parents' permission to carry out the surgery.
Wait, so he was a kid?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but I'm telling you, they needed his parents'
They
permission.
called him a bachelor, so he clearly is an
Here,
adult.
I'll tell you this. He is over 18.
Okay.
I'll tell you
But
that
why do
much.
they need the parents' permission?
Why do they need the parents' permission?
I think they were just like, "Hey, do you know what your dumb son did?" It's like, I know you might not have
Yeah.
contact with him, but this is what's going
I
on.
would say if you're old enough to fuck a wrench, you're old enough to
this is going to be a
to-
t-shirt.
to
You're writing a
consent-
t-shirt.
Can we
consent for surgery.
Yeah, I would think so too.
if you're old enough to fuck a wrench,
on the back, you're old enough to consent for surgery.
let's
should
start,
be a t-shirt.
Let's start coming up with a lot of. If you're old enough to fuck a wrench, you're old enough to own 3 turtles.
Or like that. You might be a wrench fucker.
If you ever.
They needed his parents' permission to carry out the surgery, but they failed to show up at the hospital. Failed, or were like, "I'm not going there.
That
That's
makes
your
sense.
son.
I like that.
You go there."
I'm into that.
Yeah.
They couldn't show up to sign the consent form, so the doctors had to find alternative ways to remove the wrench.
Wait, so they couldn't do the surgery because the parents wouldn't go?
Right.
So now they're involved
So now-
in the inability to
How
get
can
this
we
thing
get
off.
this dick out without performing surgery? First, they contacted the fire brigade, who brought an angle grinder with them.
What? I don't know what I don't know what a
angle
fire
grinder?
brigade is, and I also don't know what an
I think
angle
a f-
grinder
This is now how many people are working.
I
on
like
this
that
guy.
it's just more and more people are getting added to this.
There's like, what'd you say, about 9 people around this guy in his
Okay.
wrench?
I'd
Yeah.
say there are more people in that picture than were at the original performance of your one-man show in your movie.
That's right. Is that a balloon in the background? What is that?
No, that's his helmet.
Okay. I was like, they brought
Someone's making balloon animals.
There's a balloon that says "Get small soon."
They're just trying to keep his spirits up.
Get flaccid soon.
But they said the heat generated by the machine, that's the angle
and
grinder,
the number of bodies that are there.
would pose a danger to the patient.
I see.
However, one of the doctors said that she had studied a similar case during a seminar and suggested that they get hold of a dentist. 2 dentists from Zhaoji and Xinjiang with a dental trill that rotates at 200,000 to 300,000 times
No.
a minute.
No.
They said the engine also has a high-pressure water cooler to reduce heat caused by drilling. So now we've got 2 dentists going at this guy's dick while doctors stand around and the firemen still haven't left.
Why are the firemen not leaving, and why do they have their giant coats
Well, if it's because dick catches fire, because it's the drill.
That is right. It could generate a lot of heat.
Imagine this guy being like, does everybody still need to be in the room right now? Do we need everybody? And the firemen are like, hey, we showed up. We're on the clock. We're seeing this
By the
through."
way, that happens in hospitals. When my first daughter was born, and we didn't know what was going on, there was like the doctor came in and they wanted to deliver her like the regular way, not a C-section.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, he's like, he had to do a forceps, and no one in the hospital knew where the forceps were. So he
They couldn't find the forceps at the hospital?
because they don't. This is at Cedars-Sinai because they just don't do them anymore. This is an older doctor. He's actually passed away since we had our kids.
Looking for the forceps?
Yeah, no, but he was like, go in the closet. He had to tell someone, go in the closet and something or anything and pick it out. So they got the forceps. And then all of a sudden, like, 6 people came in the room that we didn't know as they're delivering. And what we didn't realize is that our daughter's arm was around her neck, cutting off her oxygen supply as she was getting, like, as she was coming out. So it got, like, super serious really fast. And we didn't fully understand it until afterwards when she came out and she was thankfully fine. But, like, when more people come in the room
And they don't tell you who
and
they
they don't
are.
tell you who they are, shit's going down. Let me just say that is, like, crazy.
Wow.
So when they start adding people, that he knows he's in trouble.
You guys can't see, in this last photo, 2 of the firemen are just fucking around on their phones.
Yeah, they're taking pictures. They're getting
fucking
selfies.
around is posting on Instagram.
No, one of them's
That's
playing.
not fucking
One of
around.
them's playing Rolling Sky.
After testing
Geometry
the drill
dash.
on a wrench from the firefighter's toolbox, the man was freed within 30 minutes by the dentist without suffering further injury.
What is further injuries vague?
Further it is too
They didn't
vague.
cut into that D when they were cutting the wrench. That was their big concern, or that they would start his dick
So
on
whatever
fire.
getting stuck in there, whatever injury that caused, that's the only injury.
What's
That's
the
it.
permanent damage from being stuck in a rat? Like it now, you kind of it shapes it differently.
I don't know. You're probably not as like willing to hop into a serious relationship with the next wrench.
Yeah. You're burned. Yeah.
You're a little.
Hey, baby, I was hurt.
Look,
You just can't shop at Craftsman
I know
for 6
your
months.
I know your pliers and you're different. You claim you're different, but
If
I've
I'm
been
the
burned.
dentist though who released that dick from that thing, I am walking around that hospital
With a God complex.
Yep, I'm walking around going like, "Who's the real doctor here?"
Yes.
Who is the real doctor here?
Yeah, I know I'm not. And when I list what I am, I don't get to say Dr. So-and-so. I have to do my name and then DDS, but I'm a motherfucking doctor.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor.
I
and
love
walk
this.
around.
They say it's not known why the guy had a wrench on his penis. Yes, it is.
He was trying to fuck it.
He was trying to
Yes.
fuck that wrench.
Or he was trying to like measure how big it was.
Ooh, okay.
size.
All right.
Because there are those
What's my
wrenches.
socket level?
Well, there are those wrenches that you can
So this
make
wasn't-
smaller or bigger with.
This was one you couldn't make smaller or bigger, I assume.
This was just a regular
I was imagining it was a socket wrench.
one that you can
Is that
adjust
the hole in
si-
the middle?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
one of
what it is.
those.
Yeah.
Like one of those crazy arm wrenches.
Like
That
it's got a hexagon, the octagon.
Yeah. He's,
Okay.
he's hex fucking.
Yeah. Okay.
which, by the way, is what the lead singer of 311 says every
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
he
really?
says.
Oh.
Now his dick is like ribbed all the time.
all the time. For his pleasure.
Yeah. Oh.
At his
Okay, we're
displeasure.
going to get out of this. I'm going to ask you guys, how old is this guy?
Okay, you
Okay,
said
all
over
right.
18. All right,
He said
Kumail.
over 18.
He
Kumail,
owns
you're our
tools.
guest.
Here's what we know. He owns tools. He
We
must.
don't know. It could be his parents' tool.
Could be
true.
maybe still lives with his parents.
He's been listed as a bachelor, though.
He's been listed
So he's
as a
over
bachelor.
18. So we know he's over
His
18.
marital, like, he has a marital, like, you don't look at a 14-year-old and be like, there's
There's
the
a
lucky bachelor.
Look at that bachelor.
No, you don't say that.
But you say bachelor if somebody's kind of past a certain age too. Like if
Sure.
someone's in their 40s, you're like bachelor.
Clooney 5 years ago was the most eligible bachelor on
Right.
this planet.
Right.
So, Kumail, since you're our guest, you can decide if you want to go first or you want to go last.
To guess his age.
I'll go last.
Okay.
You
All
guys
right,
go
Randy
first.
Sklar.
Because I have a number in my head
And it's
now.
close. You don't have to worry about going over. It's just closest.
All right,
straight up.
I have a number in my head.
I think he's 23 years old.
23
I think he's
years old
23
from
years
Randy
old.
Sklar.
So whatever he's out
Jason
of.
Sklar, how old is this little wrench fucker?
I will say this. We were just in San Francisco and meeting people who listen to Dumb People
Yeah.
Town who came to our stand-up shows. And someone said they play it out loud at a weed factory. I don't know what they make there, but they
Sure.
they do something where they grow weed and they play this out loud, and
And
then,
they pause and let everybody guess the age.
when everyone guesses the
Okay.
age. I'm like, how they love playing this game. All right, so I'm gonna say 26 years old.
26
All
years
right,
old.
now
Okay.
I'm going.
I see in your eye you're going higher. on
Yeah,
this.
I'm going higher. I was going to go 43, but since you guys all guessed so young,
Right.
I'm going to. What did you guess?
I guess 26.
I
you
guess
get
23.
All right, I'm going to go 27 just to win.
For the
27.
win.
For the win.
The man who stuck his D in that W
Yeah, D and the W.
is 37 years old.
Yeah!
Your original was right. By
I
the
was
way,
going to guess 43. actually.
your
still
original
would've won.
guess.
Still to one.
Still
Still to one.
Yeah.
But wow.
Fail with points on the board.
Right.
37 years old. So now the bachelor term comes with slight derision from the journalists.
I'm also
Yes.
going to say not his first wrench.
yeah. This isn't
37
his
years
first.
old. He's
You
fucked
fucked a
red
couple
wrench.
wrenches. Well, I will say, though, his face is blurred, but he looks like he's held up pretty well in that picture.
I bet he's gotten jerked off by a staple gun.
This is the second one with the fireman is my favorite because it's him looking down to
Like,
just lamenting
yeah.
his own decision.
Ugh.
I like my women like I like my coffee, Black & Decker.
And with that, we'll go to break. Nicely done, Jay.
Thank you.
First story down in the books. Kumail Nanjiani is here with us. His movie, The Big Sick. It's wide. It's in theaters. Everybody who is listening to this podcast, I want you to go out. I want you to buy a ticket and go see this movie. A, because you will have, this is our gift to you to go out and enjoy this movie because you'll have a great experience, but then you'll be supporting us and our friend, and it'll be great. So when we come back, 2 more stories. Good stuff happening. We'll talk a little bit more about the movie with Kumail Nanjiani on Dumb People Town. Stay with us.
Stick around, make a sound, there's more Dumb People Town.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Again, Dan mentioned the Facebook page. Please sign up for that. Rate and review
On iTunes.
on iTunes this podcast. It always helps it boost it up. And Randy and I have brought our other podcast, which was Sklarbro Country. We've changed it to A View from the Cheap Seats.
We've moved it from the comedy section to the sports section. We thought, okay, here's what we're doing. Basically, for 7 years, we got all in the Venn diagram of we got the sliver of people who were both comedy fans and sports nerds, which is a great group of people that we thought, okay, we've got these people. It's great. Not a huge group of people, but a really dedicated, awesome group. And we thought, okay, I think we need to open this up to all sports. And why not? Because we have those people. Let's see if like the regular sports fan would enjoy what we're having to say. So we take a little deeper dive.
So last Friday, we launched our very first relaunch of the show with David Koechner. Who's
So check that
hilarious,
out,
wonderful.
rate and review that. Again, View from the Cheap Seats. That's what it is. I want to talk to you about, because I know we talked as we saw you at Abominable as you were in pre-production with Showalter.
Right.
And you
Writing this movie,
you talked about how long it took you to write this script.
Yeah.
I mean, this
From
is
when you
not.
started, and you're like, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're just literally writing
How long
stuff.
did it take you and Emily, your wife, to write this thing?
Right now, it's almost exactly 5 years since when we started first writing it.
Okay.
But it's been, we shot it last summer, and then so basically the movie kind of got done, I would say, in January. So it took about 4.5 years from the first moment, like we should do a movie, to it being done was 4.5 years.
And what was how far did it come from that first draft of whatever you were
Oh
getting
my God.
done?
Very, very far. Because it's sort of based on stuff that happened to us. So the first draft was exactly everything that happened to us. No changes.
Right.
Very long draft. Would have been like a 4-hour movie.
Sure.
And then everything sort of from that was figuring out what the movie was, what we need to change, what we need to keep. It took us 3 years of just writing, and then we got a director. So it was 3 years of just, but we weren't doing it like all the time. Basically, we would write it, send it to Judd and Barry, the other producer, go in, have a meeting, they'd tear it apart, we'd rewrite 3 months. So we met with Judd probably 3 or 4 times a year over those 3 years.
Great to have Judd Apatow as someone
Who is
who's...
that? Who is Judd?
He's sort of a young upstart guy.
Oh, good,
He's
yeah.
trying to get
What
in.
has he done?
He's a TV director.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember Gary Shandling?
Yeah.
Okay, he was his assistant.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what. That's
Good for
Yeah.
him. For
Well,
that
yeah.
he'll be a
Maybe
good-
this movie will help you.
I
By the
think
way,
it
you
will.
should keep telling him that. Hey, man, I'm really excited for what this movie's going to
I
do
think
for
it's
you,
going to
Judd.
happen for you now.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
going
wanna
to
do
change
this.
things.
I want to ask you a question, Kumail. So in Birbiglia's Sleepwalk with Me, there's that whole like epiphany in his life where he realizes, all of my material, everything that I should be putting out in my art is right in front of me. That great scene with Marin, where Marin's like, that's the shit you should be talking about. Did you and Emily have a moment where you were like, oh, our life is a great story. Like, we have a movie here where maybe long before you even started writing that you were like, oh, wait, this is a story right in front of us.
Well, it wasn't like there wasn't one moment. I'd started thinking about it before she had decided that she wanted to do it. So I'd been sort of thinking, I was like, I feel like this could be a movie because it's such a specific story. So I'd been thinking about it for a few months and I hadn't really put pen to paper or anything, but I've been sort of thinking about it. And then I met Judd, and Judd was like, do you have any movie ideas? I want to work with you. Let's do something together. And so I told him I had a bunch of ideas, There's one about a ghost witch. It's
I'm ready for that. And a ghost is in a sandwich.
It's a ghost in.
That's the sequel. It's a woman who was a witch who died, and it's her ghost. So really, story
Ghost
checks
witch.
out.
Yeah,
it's a ghost witch. And I had a bunch of these, and then it was this one, and he was like, all right, let's do that one. So that's when we started. And Emily didn't want to do it in the beginning, and then she was like, all right, let's do it.
What were her fears?
Yeah, why didn't she want to do it? Because she was your story. She didn't want to put it out there.
Yeah, she thought it was too personal. Yeah, but you know what? I completely understand the point of view now, because they always say, write what you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when you write something this personal,
it is deeply personal.
It's deeply personal, and it's like, I never imagined that people would be watching it or anything. I was just like, let's make the best movie you can, and the movie's like doing pretty well now.
It's doing unbelievably well for what.
Yeah, it's great. And it's 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's
just
unbelievable.
Fucking unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're upset about that. It should be at 99 at least.
I think so.
You're missing some percentage point, but whatever.
I am.
Whatever. We can get past that. We'll get past
Well,
that.
that's what happens too when a movie's like really like well regarded. Then some people are like, all right, I'm going to be the person who
I'm going to
doesn't
take
like
it down.
it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's the ugly tale of the animal.
Yeah,
coming back
obviously,
to-
the more people who watch it, the more people will love it, and the more
Sure.
haters will come out of the woodwork
Of course.
and start going off on you, left and right.
But you were saying that, so you had originally just like, let's just make this movie. You weren't thinking about how.
I wasn't thinking about people watching it and stuff. And we went to Sundance, and we were sitting there before it started, and Emily was like, this is the last time this is going to be like our story. This is the last time the story's only going to belong to us. And it's true. It's what's cool is on Twitter, like, people watch it and tell us their stories about it. There's so many different ways to connect to it. So people understand being immigrants. People understand being in a multicultural or interracial relationship. People understand being sick or someone they know who was sick.
Yep.
Disappointing your parents.
Disappointing your parents, going against your parents' wishes,
Yeah.
I think is as universal as you can get. I mean, look at the guy who fucked the wrench. His parents were like, don't do it.
They wanted him to marry a spanner.
By the way, and he will watch your movie and get something out of it. You know what I mean?
But I even had somebody tell me as recently as this weekend that to them it taught them something about trying to do stand up.
Oh,
and succeed
really?
in stand up, and that they had never really. All of
that's
the
how you
stuff
guys
with,
got
like,
that right.
showcasing and things like that, and like having to move and like go for it with no idea and all that was something that really like, oh my God, I never thought about that.
Well, I think those scenes are, obviously it was like 6 years of my life for us, and then a couple of years in New York that I'm sure you guys all relate, is when you're first starting out and there's like a crew of people and there's like some people who are funny, some who aren't as funny, some who sort of like stayed in the town too long, never left, and they were like the legends
God,
who are now just like...
I love that story.
Yes.
I think that, and I started in Chicago, and I know exactly the guys who were like, oh, you were like the king of the scene 10 years ago, and you're still here doing this material, and you feel like you're owed something. Also, I saw Mark Maron talk about this. He was like, you'll go to a town, and someone would be like, oh, this guy is the legend. This is the local legend. And you see him perform, and you're like, that guy?
Yeah.
That's the guy?
Yeah.
So I love those, because you hear a lot of stories about stand-ups who made it. I think the ones that didn't are more fascinating.
I think I needed to see in that movie the very first family dinner scene that happens. First of all, you don't talk about it. This to me was like, there was a moment in Transparent. I don't know if you watched Transparent.
I've seen the first season. I loved it.
There's a moment, I believe, in the second season where Gabby Hoffman's character comes back and has a massive, like, in a big pivotal moment, like a Passover Seder in front of like 30 people, gets up and goes off on
Down the line,
rips the shit out of everybody in a way that is so personal, so dark, that in any other medium, any movie, any TV series, anything, my brain was saying,
oh, she's gone. This is how they're writing her out of this
Either
show.
they're writing her out of the series, or she's gone on and her storyline takes her away from the family for the next several episodes. Okay, that was my brain. Because I'm like, that's what TV tells you, and that's what it tells you that you have to do. And at the end of the episode, without going through much consternation, and they show her walking around the neighborhood because she just had to blow off steam. At the end of the episode, she comes back to the night and back to the table, and Jeffrey Tambor puts her arm around her in a moment of like, yeah, you're still part of our family and you'll start with a thing, which I know is a theme that kind of runs through your thing. But like, even in the midst of going against your parents' wishes and all that stuff in this movie and probably in life, the fact that you come back and return back to have dinner, and that it's an important thing for you to get out of the city, which people don't understand how difficult that is, to get out of a city, to get to the suburbs, with all your life going on and everything, to go and have dinner with your family. To me, I think people will relate to that, and it isn't spoken about, but it's in there. And those moments of this movie, I think, are great. I think, and truthfully, I really think, I can't believe Emily said that to you as you were sitting to watch it in Sundance. She knew how big this is going to be. I really think I think Silicon Valley changed your life in that I saw your face on a humongous billboard.
It did, yeah.
I mean, we all know how great, it's like, we all knew how great Zach Galifianakis was. We all knew that, like, this guy, as a comedian amongst our friends, and when we go see, this is the guy that everybody's coming to see, and he's great. But our friends in Missouri didn't know who he was.
Right.
And then they got the right project for him to be himself, and then his life changes completely. I do believe that this is going to be a life change. And Silicon Valley changed you in one way, but I think this movie, your life is changed now, which is kind of whatever. I mean, you can live it however you want, but I think it's it's super significant.
Oh, thank you guys. You guys are
and
so
awesome.
kind.
Want to do another story?
Let's do another story.
Okay.
Please.
It's a woman who got her vagina stuck in a
It's
in
the
a bagel
story
biter.
of two people that met in Chicago, mid-2000s.
Oh, what? Wait.
Oh my God, I know this one.
She's a Pakistani comedian.
She is. This is sent in by Francis Rizzo III at Francis Rizzo 3. Mm-hmm. Thanks, buddy. Santa Clara.
Close.
It is only in Silicon Valley. How do I say it?
Silicon.
Right? Who somebody else was telling us too? Oh, Andy Daly, right?
Silicon Valley.
Oh no, we were doing Thomas.
No. We had Andy Daly in here.
Yeah.
And he was saying that Mike Judge was like, they're here. This is the way it's said.
Yeah.
Because he was saying it's Silicon.
Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley.
It's I always say it wrong.
And I love when people call it silicon.
Silicon.
Silicon Valley? I like Silicon Valley. I was just going to say that.
See you down in Silicon Valley.
I like that.
It's only in Silicon Valley. It is an only in Silicon Valley kind of story. As police say, high-tech thieves were caught stealing thousands of dollars worth of GPS tracking devices from a Santa Clara tech company.
I like that.
Just a pro tip out there to all thieves. Don't steal anything that can be tracked.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Well, everything can be tracked, but don't steal the thing that's entire purpose is to be tracked.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like stealing bugs. Don't do that.
It is literally like sticking your dick in a wrench.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's that stupid. I don't know what's stupider, sticking your dick in a wrench or trying to pull this thing off.
These devices kind of look like cell phone chargers, so they probably thought they had some kind of street value. Rome B Corporation co-founder Vidya Subramanian. Subramanian is talking about the 100 or so GPS tracking devices that were stolen recently from the company's Dela Cruz Avenue labs. Someone planned this out, and never thought about like the
what
end.
we're taking.
Yes. Before making off with about $18,000 worth of device. I like that they thought they had street value. $18,000? They do have street value.
Wait, how many devices did this steal?
75, did you say?
Yeah, it was.
Those are so expensive.
Yeah. It's
75.
huge. They don't have a picture here, but it says it was a lot.
Why would they be that expensive?
Before making off with the $18,000 worth of the devices, the thieves grabbed a beer out of the fridge and cut themselves in the process, leaving fingerprints and blood evidence.
Played a game of ping pong at the conference room ping pong table.
Fucked all the wrenches.
It's like stealing the GPSs aren't bad enough.
Yeah.
Took a nap in the sleep pad. Suddenly this becomes about how great the office was that they stole.
This does sound like a great office.
Had a couple of cappuccinos from the brand new $80 million cappuccino maker.
I love that before
a massage.
Before they went in, they were like, how much evidence do you want to leave here? Because we're already stealing GPSs.
Right. They're gonna get us.
Yeah.
Let's just jizz in the beanbag chairs and get out of here.
At this point, they're just trying to make their trial shorter. They're like, we're gonna get caught. Let's make it an in and out thing. Jizz everywhere.
Or you'd steal a beer. You're like, what, is this a twist off? No, it's another one. Should we just wait until we get back to your plate? No, let's just, if you hit it really hard on the thing.
Corey, what are you doing? We don't have enough evidence left around here. I'm cutting don't cut yourself.
They don't have security cameras in those places, do they?
He literally cut himself and left blood as evidence. Everything they wanted, like, what are you doing? This is my original birth certificate.
I'm just going to leave a copy of it on the counter.
Don't leave it there. Leave it where they'll see
I'm writing a note.
I'm emailing everyone. I'm sending out a mass email.
Michael, stop spitting.
I'm leaving my mother's maiden name here.
All my passwords I'm unencrypting them.
What are you doing with that Suave kit up your nose?
Stop, don't shit there. I want him to know it was me. We're the shitty DNA bandits.
They're the worst.
They cut themselves in the process, leaving fingerprints and blood evidence. But it wasn't long before police were using Rome Beast software to locate the devices and the thieves.
Okay, now, the cynic in me says that what if Romby planned this whole thing out so that they could get the story out there to say how great their tracking devices are?
And their offices. Come work for us. Fire shit.
And sympathy. We have, like, all I'm getting is that they got beer in their office. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't understand why these are $18,000 if they stolen like 100 of them.
I will, here, let me put
$1,800 per device.
That seems crazy.
I think these are like pro.
This is where Kumail says I'm smelling bullshit here.
You're calling it.
The device prices are really throwing him.
That's really, really expensive.
They come in like boxes, so they're like the size of like an iPhone, and I think that they just grabbed
whatever they could grab.
Okay, so they got a bunch of them.
Yeah,
all right.
So probably took like 100 boxes, which maybe had a bunch in there.
100 each. Yeah,
exactly.
Right, sure.
So an insane amount of these GPS devices. But to me, what if Rome is like this? Look at how great our stuff is.
Yeah.
If your stuff ever gets stolen, we were robbed. We're just like you.
We were able to pinpoint the location of these trackers to a warehouse in Union City, and two of the devices. This also, to me, sounds like the deep backstory to a Grand Theft Auto mission.
It really does. Yeah.
Like, you got to go steal these GPS trackers.
Those early in the game bullshit missions
yes.
where you're just like, you
go
gotta
to a warehouse in Union.
And then they're going to find the unit, and the mission's really to teach you how to evade cops. Like
that is what it is.
Yeah.
You get 1 star.
Right. We were able to pinpoint the location of the trackers to a warehouse in Union City. Doesn't that sound like a Grand Theft Auto?
Totally.
And two of the devices had gone mobile, and the thieves were driving around with them in the East Bay. So I love that two of them were like, I'm taking, I'm going to take one.
I'll take one.
Yeah, I'm just going to drive.
Let's see how this thing works here.
But that's exactly like a Grand Theft Auto mission do, because you go to the warehouse and they're like, there's 2 missing, and then they're on your map, and you gotta
go find both of them.
Yeah, you gotta go fucking kill the guy.
Yeah, because they're gonna
take
kill
2 shots at his wife beater.
Right, because the guy's gonna kill your friend if you don't go and get the 2 GPS.
And you can see on his GPS that he is located where your friend is.
Yes,
so you're now tracking him, tracking your friend.
We were able to pinpoint the exact location. Driving around the East Bay, the 2 men were arrested in Alameda. The storage locker was found to contain drugs and other stolen property.
Sure. We'll just put it with other stuff. Like, this is the dumbest. Let's lure them to all of our stolen stuff.
Yeah, think about this. Let's backtrack. These 2 dudes, Corey and whoever, have now decided we're going to rob a GPS company and then take those GPSs back to our warehouse in Union City where
we've already carried out other successful robberies. This is the plot of every Roger Moore James Bond movie where he goes and sticks a tracking device on the bottom of a car to lure you to the mountain where they're doing all the shit.
Did you guys see Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah,
Not yet.
they've
I've not
got
seen it.
that's they have
Lot of
that.
tracking.
Yeah.
A lot of tracking in Spider-Man. How's it tracking?
Oh, it crashed.
It's good.
Crashing.
Usually, the Roam B devices are used to track the shipment of bananas and other products worldwide, not criminals.
Oh, so they,
there's,
what
like,
they do is they
shipping.
put them in a warehouse,
Yeah.
in a truck.
Where
And
are
then-
they? Where
I
are
see,
they?
I
Exactly.
see.
But the publicity, ready for this, Randy Sklar? May be good for business.
Oh, is it?
What a surprise.
Is it?
This is according to
Inside job.
This is according to Vidya Supermanian. What this
That
has
is
done-
not his name. There
Yes,
is
it
no.
is.
It's a lady.
That is not
It
her
is
name.
a lady. Vidya is a
Vidya is a
Vidya.
lady's name.
Because I
Yeah.
went to college with Jaya Subramanian, so I know the name.
And
but I
that's
didn't
a
know
lady,
Vidya.
too.
Yeah,
If-
Jaya is.
If
yeah,
there
she's-
was a
she's
video
awesome.
store that only sold like comic book movies and stuff, and it was called Vidya Supermanian, I would shop there. That to me, I would be like, I'd buy it 100%.
You're putting a P in. Here's what we got. What this has done is show our customers that our product not only
my
works,
God.
but it goes into full recovery mode where we can actually show the end result for a roaming perspective.
Inside job.
It was picture perfect. This is what we've been gearing up to do, and we were ready for it, and we executed.
Someone is
Easy
like,
on the
stop talking.
I also like how much she's showing off when what the product did was like the bare minimum. What it,
Right. Just be a GPS. Like,
it's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like a better GPS would be like if it goes in the wrong hands, it like disables their car.
Right.
As they're trying to
This
leave.
is like a cell phone that only does one thing.
This is a Find My iPhone in something that's
Yes.
overpriced.
Yes.
Do you think that this CEO, she constantly left the doors wide open
Yeah.
every night,
Please.
waiting for somebody like
That's, by the way, that is new business in every like high tech meeting they're having. Okay, so tonight you're going to leave the doors open.
Yeah,
Have
good
anybody
job.
stolen any of the stuff yet? No,
Put
not yet.
Yeah, put the razors on the beer bottle.
yeah,
Yeah. It also does kind of sound
get
like
the
it could be
DNA.
a plot to Silicon Valley where they're like, we let them steal it, and then
Yes.
once it's stolen,
It totally
we prove
is.
how well it works, and then
Totally.
obviously you guys would never get it back.
It totally is like that.
Yeah, because you guys are like, did anybody turn them on before they took the devices?
Exactly.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
No.
I thought you did.
Fucking Guilfoyle.
This season, by the way, man, I loved it all.
Oh, thank you.
You being the CEO for a while,
Yeah, I had
and
that.
your outfits
So
and your
good.
hair.
Yeah,
was-
thank you.
And then that just that
Ridiculous.
swagger that you had, and constantly being terrified of your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, she's great.
She's
I mean,
so
the-
good. I forget her name. She's a UCB performer. But
Oh, is she?
Yeah, but you when you were like
Phoebe
taking
Neidhart.
Yes, yep. When you were taking over and like were so happy to be in charge.
Yeah.
I just loved that. It's really
Yeah,
good.
I'm behind actually. Emily saw the whole season. I'm like a few still behind.
It's fun. It's
really
so fun.
great.
One of the
Love
funnest
that it's
shows on
though
TV.
still a priority for you, even though you were in it, to catch up.
You gotta
Well,
catch up. It's
I
fun to
just-
watch it all put together.
It is fun to see it
Yeah.
all.
Shoot
put
your
together.
stuff, you know the scripts, but
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking to watch. So while we were like promoting the movie and stuff, I was like, I just don't want to deal with the nerves of watching myself.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
Is it hard for you to watch yourself in things or no?
The first time it's hard. Well, for the movie, because we edited it, so you really had
You
to.
saw every moment.
And you see your ticks, you know, you see like, oh, I do that when I'm, because you remember how it felt to do it, and you're like, when I'm feeling like this, I do this.
Yep.
So it's really, I think it's helpful actually. I
Yeah,
think it's
it
helpful.
helps you to see the things that you maybe.
It's like watching game film.
Yeah.
It doesn't end there. Police say the suspects may be tied
Hey,
to
save it for View from the Cheap Seats, okay?
Nice.
police. I meant like rewatching Call of Duty when you see.
Okay,
yourself.
all right,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So it's
You're back.
and we're back.
It doesn't end there. Police say the two suspects may be tied to other crimes. No shit.
Yeah.
yeah, they took you to their goddamn storage locker.
There was
their
lots of
booty
stolen
lair.
property in that storage locker. Here's where this takes a turn. Now we're in a whole other mission, including a photo album in the storage locker that had irreplaceable images from World War II that was taken in a recent burglary in Saratoga. So they stumbled in, they find like all the stolen stuff, and now they find somebody's like original pictures that were taken by a family member in World War II.
This is so Grand Theft Auto.
This is
it goes
these
on
are
to
the
all-
But they're like photos of like Nazis that you then have to go down to Argentina to find.
so they
And
then
kill.
through these guys locate old Nazis
Right.
that are hiding.
And when you return the photo album, if you say the right things to that guy, he gives you an old bazooka to have. Like,
Yeah.
that's the first like unlockable.
Yeah.
But if you-
yeah.
as soon as they As soon as they open the photo album, everybody's face melts, right?
Yeah.
Like Raiders.
Here's my old flamethrower. The owner, this is just the end of this article. The owner was thrilled to get them back. So we started out stealing GPSs, and then we end with some
Giving
owner
a
of
photo album to someone in Saratoga.
Yeah. I love
great.
that you called it, though, that they're like, this is all publicity.
It is straight up publicity. I love it.
Certainly.
It's dumb on every angle.
When we do the third story, I know
Okay.
we're about to break.
Yeah.
This is one of the craziest and dumbest people we've ever talked about.
I am so excited that we have Kumail
It is
Nanjiani
short
here
and
to
couldn't be more to the point.
Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we meet one of the greatest, dumbest people in the history of Dumb People Town. Stay with us.
Stick around, make a sound. There's more Dumb People Town.
Hey there, Adam Conover here. Humans Who Make Games is my podcast where I sit down with the people who created some of your favorite video games and have the kind of long-form personal conversation we so rarely get to hear. We talk about how they got into the industry, what their favorite games were growing up, and what it's like working in the trenches of this century's greatest new art form. This season, we've got a whole batch of new interviews for you. I talked to Kim Swift from Portal, Alex Preston from Hyperlight Drifter, Anna McGill from Control, and Alex Beecham from the game Outer Wilds. Whether you love video games or you just love learning more about other artists' creative process, I can guarantee you're going to love this podcast. So, you can get Season 2 of Humans Who Make Games wherever you get your podcasts. Take a listen.
Hey guys, welcome back to Dumb People Town. We have Kumail Nanjiani. His movie The Big Sick is in theaters probably near you, and you should go check it out. What did your real life parents think of it? I mean, they've seen it.
Oh, they loved it. You know, there was like a little family reunion I couldn't go to in Toronto, and so like 8 of them went to see the movie, and they'd already seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But my cousin told the theater owner that like, oh, his parents are here, and everybody clapped.
They did
and
a
my
Q&A?
My dad like stood up and like got pictures with everyone, and like took a bow.
The guy who
Fucking
played your
awesome.
dad in the movie was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's Anupam Kher. He's like
Yeah.
a Bollywood legend.
He's a Bollywood legend.
This was his 500th movie.
Okay, so did your
500 movie.
do your parents know him as a Bollywood actor?
Oh, yeah.
So were they pumped that you had this guy
I
in
asked
your
my
movie?
dad who he wanted, and he said that guy.
Shut up!
That guy's like Robert De Niro, except there might be some people in America that don't know Robert De Niro. I don't think there's anyone in India that would not know him. 500 movies.
By the way,
can this movie go there and just because he's in it, like, destroy?
it is playing there.
is it playing there? Because
Yeah.
I looked on Box Office Mojo to see how it's doing. My question was, how is it going to play in India? Are people in India going to be like mad because you married the white girl?
I think first of all, because action movies do well there. Not everybody speaks English, so
Yeah.
that like really narrows your
Narrows it
audience.
down, yeah.
It really narrows your audience.
Unless they dubbed it.
They didn't dub it.
They didn't dub it.
They didn't dub it. But
Okay.
like for action movies, you don't need to know what's going on.
Right.
You can kind of go watch it.
Right.
Well, I tell people that Doug Benson, all of our friends, who saw the movie well before I saw it, told me this, and it held up. And I tell this to everybody when I say go see The Big Sick. Everything lands.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's
That's amazing
Very
for-
nice of
Yeah,
him.
yeah, and it's true. It's
Yeah.
very
So,
good.
and also, with Doug Benson saying that, this is a movie you can watch really high.
Yes,
You can also watch it high.
he does watch a lot of movies.
Yes.
He loves movies.
Yeah.
All right, last story, Dan.
Yeah, here we go. Sent in by Brian Skinner at B Skinner, BEE.
B. Skinner.
SKI.
Can you be Skinner?
ER.
I don't know if you can be Skinner.
Could you be any Skinner?
Could you be any Skinner?
Resident, forgive me for my horrible pronunciation, resident of Bursingpur Village, Shankar Rai, R-A-I, Ray?
Bye.
RAI is where I get all my camping gear.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Shankar Rai
Oh, cool.
Good.
was asleep. He was asleep when a lethal snake
Bit his
bit
penis.
him. No.
He stayed.
You are looking for common dumb people, which is very solid bet.
Yeah.
But I told you
This
This
might be
is the dumbest person.
we're at another level.
All right, was sleeping and he got bit by a
A
lethal snake.
lethal snake bit him. Upon waking up, he found his condition deteriorating.
Oh boy.
And suddenly turned emotional.
What?
When Shankar realized that he won't make it through, he went up to his wife, Amiri Devi, and bit her hands, saying that he loved her very much and wanted to depart this world together.
Oh, so he tried to poison her.
He tried to poison her.
Oh,
Yeah.
she agreed to it.
What?
This sounds like Spider-Man.
Yes.
He's Spider-Man.
You guys,
What?
Snake, this is the headline. Snake bites man, man bites wife.
There you
Okay.
go. Someone's going to get it somehow.
Man Bites Wife was also a great show on Comedy Central. With
Zach Galifianakis.
Galifianakis, Matt Walsh. Walsh.
You guys, this guy's dying from a snake bite. Like, babe, can I talk to you really quick?
Yeah.
Now look, what I'm going to say.
Classic good news, bad news.
Yeah, exactly. Good news is I love you and I want to be with you forever.
Forever.
Bad news forever,
Bad news forever
starts right now.
It starts right now, and we are both going to
First
go.
of all, remember the part where they were like, till death do you part?
Yeah.
What if we said, fuck that?
And we went way beyond that.
We went
way beyond it.
And imagine her, guys, she's like, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay.
I mean, I'm impressed that they love each other that much. Like, God bless them for forever caring for each other. They're both idiots, but fine. They have
They
love.
are.
Wow.
That's deep
Give
love.
me your hand.
Yes.
Give me your hand.
I think his position is a little more understandable than hers.
Because he doesn't want to go alone?
Well, I feel like you're getting bit by a snake. You're going to fucking die. You're under stress. You don't know what's going
the
on.
plane is going down.
Yeah, you don't know what.
Of
I
your
mean,
life.
I'm not justifying what he did, but I'm saying I could be like, you know what? This is the worst pain I've ever felt. I want to give some of it to somebody else.
So,
It's like Chris Rock. I'm not saying OJ did it, but I can
saying
understand. why.
Right, and I'm not saying I would do that to my lovely wife, Emily. If I get bit by a snake, I'm going alone.
I thought you said you weren't going to do what OJ did to his wife.
I'm not going to murder my wife like OJ did.
So you're
I'm
saying
not
on
going to
some
kill my
level-
white wife like OJ did.
So on some level, if Jack had just grabbed Rose by the wrist and started pulling down into that water, you'd be like, I get it.
No,
We're gonna do it
it's
together.
different.
It's a different movie.
It's different.
Come on.
Going down.
Let's both go.
I've only known you for a weekend.
How long do you think he laid in bed and be like, I gotta lay this out the right way. I can't get out of this bed and be like, you're dying too. I gotta come with love first.
And
right?
I got to present it in the way that I love you forever.
After Shankar, do you guys, first of all, let me ask you.
India?
I
think
think
this is
Burnsburg Village. Burnspur. It doesn't say.
That's an Indian name.
That
Yeah.
seems Indian.
I'm gonna ask you guys, do you think it worked?
I don't think she died.
There's no way he can transfer the poison.
No, he can't try to put unless it caused like a gangrene and it got infected and it had nothing to do with the snake
Listen
bite.
though, one time, I mean, this is true. When my wife was following the Grateful Dead around in the 80s, she was at a concert and a friend of hers was like, "Hey, would you like a little dose of acid on your wrist?"
Yes.
Okay. And as the person was dropping a droplet onto her wrist, somebody knocked his arm from behind and he spilled half a bottle of liquid acid all over her arms. She was like, the rest of like that set, I was freaking out. I felt the whole stadium breathing back and forth. I went and found another friend of mine who at the break, and I was sweating and I was freaking out, and I hugged him just for like safety at a port in a storm. He came around to me 30 minutes later and was like, "What did you do to me?" She was sweating and transferred the acid onto him. So now he was tripping balls because of how much she was sweating. So I believe you can transfer it. I'm just saying.
I also found out this takes place in Panta, which is in India.
There you go.
And it is 90 kilometers north, is where this is specifically in the Samastapur. I'm horrible at this game.
We got it.
After Shankar,
I like that you're adding you don't have to give us directions
Geography.
because we don't know what the fuck it's north
Right.
of.
You said 90 kilometers from another place that we don't know.
you know what?
Like, isn't that
Is
90
it
kilometers north of?
Is it 90?
I thought it was 80 kilometers south.
Well, when you guys are at game night and you get asked that question, I want a fucking text.
It might be 150 kilometers west of another place we don't know.
After Shankar bit his wife, Both of them fell unconscious.
What?
Yes.
So I don't think it has anything to do with the venom.
Soon, the couple was rushed to a local hospital where Shankar died soon, but the doctors managed to save his wife, Amiri.
Okay.
The woman could be saved as her treatment began on time. So
they're saying that the venom did get transferred.
He did. He transferred it
transferred the venom.
from him biting her.
He became a poisonous snake. That's his superhero.
I'm not buying it. I think she had an unrelated. She was going to die of something else.
Oh my God.
The woman could be saved because her treatment began on time. She's safe now. A local medical practitioner, Dr. J. Kant, told the local media.
By the way, all the doctors in India are white doctors. That's just by way
the way
of
it goes.
affirmative
Really?
action.
Dr. J. Kant lives approximately 12 miles east of where this took place.
Oh, so wait, hang on. That's 74 miles kilometers south of.
Sometimes it's miles, sometimes it's kilometers.
That's what happens when I make it up.
So may he rest in peace.
According to Amiri Devi, her husband dug his teeth into her wrist. He wished to die together and also wanted to remain united even in the afterlife, but his last wish wasn't fulfilled. Quote, he told...
She can still join
By the
him
way,
in the
she's like,
afterlife.
I'll see you in 30 years.
Nothing stopping her from committing suicide.
I know. Hey, thank you very much. She's going to find that
I
snake.
don't have the courage of your convictions.
Don't get in the way of your own dreams.
Come on, Amiri Devi.
Stand by your man. Lay by your man.
He told me...
What if she now is like into dudes with really like leathery skin? You know what I mean? Like that's the transfer that happens is like, it's like really kind of slithery dudes.
Cold-blooded.
He told me that he loved me too much and wanted to die together before grabbing my wrist and sinking his teeth into it. I allowed him to do so.
Because that's just...
I don't... The level of dumb in that to me. I don't care how much you love a person. They don't get to bite you to die together.
Also, the main point you said is that they were able to start her treatment on time. Had he just been like, hey, I got bit by a poison snake, he might still be alive.
Instead of like trying to orchestrate a murder-suicide.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because he laid there for a long time until his condition
Coming
got
up with
worse.
the plan.
And then
How do I approach my wife?
I will say this, though. They were obviously meant for each other.
Yes, they found each other.
They were on board for everything together.
Dumb finds
Look,
dumb.
I can say this. And this is
Dumb finds dumb.
This is what I would say if I were delivering his eulogy. He died doing what he loved. Trying to put venom into his wife.
True.
Which is what we all eventually do.
I
in
bet
marriage.
that's got to be the worst way to go.
To just...
But a snake bite?
Snake bite.
Snake bite's gotta be horrible.
Yeah.
Second only to getting bit by a guy who just had a snake bite. That's gotta be the worst.
After saying go for it.
Yeah.
Those are stories,
Wow.
gents.
Sweet. Jeez.
Man, because I remember Kill Bill, I think it's 2, where he gets bit by the snake and all the shit. Like, they fuck
Oh,
you
yeah.
up.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have an unbelievable story that I want people to check out on what album or what special is the Mongoose at
It's
the
called
party?
Beta Male.
Beta Male. So it's off of Beta Male. It's just an
that's
incredible story about you being a child
At a birthday party. Watching
watching
when they released a snake.
a cobra and a mongoose
Fighting, yeah.
fight it out. Which I'm
It's
about
at
to
every birthday party.
Well, I'm about to plan my daughter. She's about to turn 10, and I was just thinking about things to do, and that actually sounds like a great.
Get it, dude.
We were going to either do an escape room, a rock climbing wall, or like a mongoose cobra fight off.
Or watch cricket, and then if we win, burn newspaper in the street. Now we're doing every bit
Wow,
from your
you
stand-up from the
remember.
old days.
The old stuff.
Well, we just did a story about a man who killed his wife, and another man who may or may not, or tried to kill his wife, another man who may or may not have killed his wife, left us a voicemail about his attitudes were. That's Robert Durst, who I don't know what the latest on Robert Durst's story is.
Me
but
either.
Let's
Occasionally
find
he
out.
leaves voicemails for us, which
To let us
also-
know and check in with us, which is also weird. So let's take a listen.
Hi, boys. Robert Durst here. Just hanging around L.A. Went to the Grove today. A lot of pretty women there. I'm calling because I was wondering if you guys could help me advertise. I started a piñata business. Now, here's the deal. It's specific. It's like a theme. So what you do is you go in a room and then you turn the lights off and everybody swings the piñata. And then after you're done, you say rhetorical things like, am I the person who hit the piñata? Did I break? I don't know who broke open the piñata, but there's all this candy here and candy benefits me. So I got the candy from the piñata being gone, but did I do it? I don't know. Anyway, It's called Burstin' for Durstin'. If you guys would help me advertise, I would really appreciate it. Other than that, I'm looking for my brother Douglas. If you have his address, I want to send him a card. I'd appreciate it. My name is Robert. Call me Bob, and I'll talk to you. Also, if you guys are having lunch, let me know your address, and I'll stop by when I get a chance. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, Mommy.
Bye, Mommy. Weird.
I gave too many details. I shouldn't have
Still
said
going.
Still going.
Still going.
Oh, I broke the pinata. Of
Oh,
course.
okay. Still going. He doesn't know that he hasn't hung up yet.
Hello?
You-
Hang the... Bye-bye.
all right. Well,
Still, yeah, he's still.
Bob Durst just still. I mean, some guys escape the
They just
venom.
never learn.
They never learn,
and that they keep
or
on
they
trucking.
know too well that they'll never get caught. All right, guys, this is an unbelievable episode. Thank you so much for. I know you're so busy. I know you have a lot going on right now, and I really do believe your life is going to change or has changed for the better for all the great things you want to do. And I'm so happy for you because you are a friend and someone that we know and love and also are a fan of. So congrats.
And I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see the sequel.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
How do you
next.
do a
That's the thing.
sequel? Big, sick, and little Pakistan, where they go across the water.
They go across the water.
No, Big Sick and Little China.
Big, sick, and little China.
said that.
No, everybody, again, I'm going to say this to all of our listeners. Please go out and support this movie and push it up in the top. And let's make a campaign to get this thing on the ballot for the Academy Awards. I want you to be standing up there, you and Emily, for best screenplay.
God.
Best original screenplay. I truly believe you guys are going to be in the mix. And I don't know why I have such a feeling about it, but I want it to happen. Guys, next week on the podcast, Tony Hale is going to be on. And then in 2 weeks, Jason Mantzoukas. Great stuff all the way around. Rate, review, subscribe to this podcast, tell friends about it. And that's how we grow this thing. Thank you, Daniel Van Kirk.
Thank you guys. Thank all of you. Thanks, Kumail.
Thank you, guys.
Dum 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 dum.